Hello, friends. So, we are going to be reading a story today. It's going to look a little bit different because we're going to, or actually, you guys are going to be using your questioning hand, your who, what, where, when, why, and how questions, and I wonder questions. I have Beagle and the Love Bug joining us today. So, we are going to be reading Waiting for the Biblioburro, and it's written by Monica Brown, and the illustrations are by John Fata. So today is going to be a little different. I actually like you to write down any wonders you have or any questions that you have before, during, and after the book. So please use this time to get your notebook so that you can start jotting down your questions. And what's going to be great today is that you can pause the video when you have a question so that you can write it down and then you can resume when you are done writing down your question. So you might have 5 questions, you might have 10 questions, you might have 2 questions. It all depends on you as the reader, okay, or as the listener. So spend this time going to get your notebook and a pencil and get in a comfortable space where you can write while you listen to the story. If you still need a little more time to get those things, then go ahead and press pause. Waiting for the Biblioburro. I already have a question. I'm wondering what a Biblioburro is. Is he the Biblioburro? Is this the Biblioburro? Or is the whole thing? On a hill behind a tree, there's a house. In the house, there's a bed, and on the bed, there is a little girl named Anna, fast asleep, dreaming about the world outside and beyond the hill. There's our girl Anna. When Anna wakes up to the rooster's ki 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 ki, Papi is already at work on the farm, and Mommy is busy in the garden. Anna bathes her little brother and feeds the goats and collects the eggs to sell at the market. Wow, she does a lot. After breakfast, Anna and her mother walk down the hill. Anna closes her eyes against the sun and wishes she was back in the cool of the house with her libro, her book. Anna has read her book, her only book, so many times she knows it by heart. The book was a gift from her teacher for working so hard on her reading and writing. But last fall, her teacher moved far away, and now there is no one to teach Anna and the other children in her village. She doesn't have a teacher then. None of the children in her village do. Remember, if you have a question, go ahead and pause the video while you write down your question. So at night on her bed in the house on the hill, Anna makes up her own cuentos and tells the stories to her little brother to help him fall asleep. She tells him stories about make-believe creatures that live in the forest and the mountains and the sea. She wishes for new stories to read, but her teacher with the books has gone. One morning, Anna wakes up to the sound of tack-a-tack, clip-clop, and a loud hee-yah, hee-yah. When Anna looks down the hill below her house, she sees a man with a sign that reads Biblioburro. With the man, there are 2 burros. What are they carrying? So a burro is a donkey. What are they carrying? Can you see? Libros, books. Anna runs down the hill to the man with the sign and the burros and the books. Other children run to him too, skipping down hills and stomping through the fields. Who are you? Who are they? The children ask. The man says, I am a librarian, a bibliotecario, and these are my burros, Alpha and Beto. Welcome to the Biblioburro, my biblioteca. Biblioteca is library in Spanish. But senor, Anna says, I thought libraries were only in big cities and buildings. Not this one, says the librarian. This is a moving library. Then he spreads out his books and invites the children to join him under a tree. Wow, so he takes these two donkeys and he travels with these books so that children who don't live in big cities where there are libraries can read books. Once upon a time, the librarian begins, sharing the story of an elephant who swings from a spider's web. He reads from books with beautiful pictures and helps the little ones learn their abecedario. Abecedario. He sings A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Finally, he says, "Now it's your turn. Pick out books, and in a few weeks, I will be back to collect them and bring you new ones." "Me too?" asked Anna. "Especially you," says the librarian with a smile. Just like a regular library. This one just happens to be on donkeys. So many cuentos. While Alpha and Beto chomp the sweet grass under the tree, Anna picks up book after book and finds pink dolphins and blue butterflies, castles and fairies, talking lions and magic carpets. She is so excited to have books now. Again, someone should write a story about your burros, Anna tells the librarian, rubbing Alpha's nose and feeding more grass to Beto. "Why don't you?" he asks. Then he packs up the books and is off. "Enjoy," he calls to the children. "I will be back." Anna runs up the hill to her house, hugging the books to her chest. She can't wait to share her books with her brother, and that night she reads until she can't keep her eyes open any longer. Each morning, Anna does her chores and reads and looks out her window. She listens for the sounds of Alfa and Beto, but weeks pass and the librarian doesn't return. Oh, no. "When will he come back?" she asks her mother, who smiles and says, "Go read, Anna." "When will he come back?" she asks her mother, who smiles and says, "Go draw, Anna." "When will he come back?" she asks her mother, who smiles and says, "Go write, Anna." "When will he come back?" she asks her mother, who finally says, "Go to bed, Anna." She's on a butterfly. It says, "Había una vez," which means once upon a time. One night, Anna dreams she is flying over her country on a butterfly's back. In her dream, she crosses mountains and oceans and rivers and jungles, bringing stories everywhere she goes. Stories fly from her mouth and fingers like magic, falling into the hands of children waiting below. When Anna wakes up, she misses Alpha and Beto and the Biblioburro's books. She remembers that the librarian told her that she could write a book, and so, with paper and string and colored pencils, she does. Finally, just when Anna thinks she'll never see the Biblioburro again, she wakes up to the "Ia, Ia" and children yelling. She runs down the hill with her library books and a special surprise of her very own. "I wrote this cuento for you," she says. "Que bueno," the librarian says, and then he reads her story to the children under the tree. When it's time to go, Anna's book is packed carefully on the burro's back, ready to be carried away over the hills and through the fields to another child who is asleep on a bed in a house on a hill behind a tree, dreaming of Alpha and Beto and all the new stories the Biblioburro will bring. The end. So I wanted to share with you this author's note. It says, how far would you go for a book? How far would a librarian travel to bring that book for you? Around the world, there are many librarians and libraries that travel long distances, just like the Biblioburro. In Kenya, camel caravans deliver books to nomads in the desert. In Sweden, Stockholm's floating library delivers books to islanders on book boats. In Zimbabwe, there is a donkey drawn mobile cart library. In the United States, bookmobiles started out as book wagons. This book this book was inspired by a particular librarian I was honored to get to know, Luis Soriano Boroques. Near La Gloria, Colombia, this teacher and librarian delivers books to children who live in remote villages with the help of his two donkeys, Alpha and Beto. Luis's Biblioburro program is an inspiration to all of us. To learn more about Luis, check out www.cnn.com/this whole thing. The book is a celebration of Luis and all the teachers and librarians who bring books to children everywhere, across deserts, fields, mountains, and water. The end.